With the near chaos of week 7 in the books and the top 25 in near shambles after a crazy week 7, it begs to wonder what week 8 will bring to the table, knowing that 2 of the top 5 teams in the country will be going head to head, as well as 2 of the top 11 teams will be going head to head. Want to find out what Mr. CeeLo feels about these matchups and many more? Stay tuned to find out on Gridiron Gab Triple Option. Welcome back, all you gabbers. Glad you could join us on this edition of Gridiron Gab Triple Option Week 8 edition. I am the one and only Mr. CeeLo here. And here we are. Gotta give another gab out to my man Brad. As always, I got to give a gab out to my man Brad. And give him some love, because needless to say, guys, I'm telling you, when you holler at your boy, I gotta show some love to you. I got to show some love to you. As we go into also a gab out to Natasha, who Brad, I'm sure Natasha, you won't like what Brad had to say. He said Red River's a good game to watch, but I won't watch it this year. Natasha's an OU fan, so gab out to her as well. And then he said the other thing, it makes me sick to my stomach. But thank you both for giving your input and joining the show, as well as laying down your opinions and whatnot. They're greatly appreciated. I got a question for you guys. You know, I'm always interested to hear what people like to eat at these games, or while they're watching these games. You know, me personally, I always hear wings. That's a popular thing. Me, I'm kind of partial to this place called Jack's Hamburgers and Hot Dogs. Now, if you guys don't know, they're these little bitty hamburgers and hot dogs that are just phenomenal. I know what people are going to say. Are you blasting them? No. Just saying. But I love those little burgers and those sausage dogs that they got. They are so good. But it's hunting season, and I got some friends. I hope you guys are checking me out. I need a deer, and I don't hunt. We got a slate of games that could possibly change the course of the top 25. It could be a seismic shift, but I don't foresee one. But I'm just going to go down the games and give you my opinions on it's going to be a short critique on every one of them except the main ingredient, which is the hometown team. But this game is seismic, so I need to get this done. I've been running behind, as you guys know. I think number 23 and number 25, number 25 Navy and number 23 Army, smooth sailing. I think they win and move up the respective ladders, because I do believe Michigan is going to fall to Illinois' passing game. And honestly, it would not surprise me if Michigan kept this thing close, as rumors are that Michigan is possibly on their third quarterback. So, and their running game is not nearly as prolific as it was last season. So I see Michigan falling out of top 25 on this one. SMU gets a easy win against Stanford, but don't be shocked if Stanford keeps this thing close. Auburn versus 19 Mizzou at home. Mizzou wins this one. They've been playing home all season, except for the one loss. They got actually hammered. KSU brings their eighth ranked rushing attack, number 17 KSU, I might add, against West Virginia. Now, West Virginia's always showed a propensity to play well at home. So it would not surprise me if they pulled the upset, because KSU also has a habit of playing badly on the road, especially against unranked teams. So this is a game to keep an eye on. The 5-1 unranked Nebraska Cornhuskers take on number 16 undefeated Indiana with that 10th ranked passing attack. This is another one that could go either way. Matt Rule figures out a way to get wins against really good offenses. This is a team that if Indiana gets caught up falling in love with the falling in love with the pass in Bloomington, they could fall. I'm not saying they will, but it's a possibility. I'm gonna go with Indiana, but I truly believe Rule could bring this team and win. It would not surprise me if I look up about 3:30 and this game goes to them. Then you got number 12 Notre Dame heading to the ATL to face Georgia Tech, and their quarterback is not playing in this game, so I think this is going to be a smooth sailing for the Irish. The 4-2 unranked Virginia Cavaliers face off against the number 10 Clemson Tigers. This game is going to be sneaky. There are a lot of analysts that are saying that this game is not going to be a challenge for Clemson. But I'm going to say it like this. If the Virginia Cavaliers, which I believe, the Virginia Cavaliers will get into the end of the half and this game won't be blown out. I think it'll be something like 17-10 or 17-7. And then I think if Clemson's going to blow them out or win this game, they're going to walk away with it in the second half. Then you've got the 4th-ranked rushing attack of Central Florida coming in against Iowa State Cyclones. Oh, the number 9-ranked Iowa State Cyclones. Cyclones look to continue their unbeaten record in the regular season. As I said, I think Iowa State is one of the Cinderella stories of the season, but I'm going to say it like this. It would not shock me, and you guys have heard me say this a lot, that you see those Knights from Orlando winning this game in the 4th quarter and controlling the clock. 4th-ranked rushing attack. Just saying. Ames is a tough place to play, but trying to stop a quality elite rushing attack is even tougher. Then you got the 6th-ranked passing attack of the number 8 LSU Tigers facing off against the Arkansas Razorbacks in Fayetteville. This ain't a good combo considering LSU is coming off a huge win at home in Death Valley versus Ole Miss. To me, this has all the makings of a upset brewing. A lot of people won't agree with me, but I'm telling you, this has got upset written all over it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm taking the upset.
You fucking idiot.
That's right.
Damn you.
Then we saw Oregon win 35-0 over Purdue last night. They made short work of that. Then we got Miami-Louisville at 12 o'clock. Now, this is going to be the weird one. Miami's been flying by the skin of their teeth the last 2 weeks. Miami's had a chance to somewhat say get their little jiggy on and get their mind back on football. And what better way to do that than against the Louisville team that's coming in unranked when they were ranked high, needing a game like this to cement an opportunity to get right back into this brace. They don't do it. I'm taking Miami, and I think Miami makes a huge statement here. Because right now, they need one. They need a huge statement right now. And a lot of people will say, well, they're all in the college football playoff. Why do they need a huge statement? They want a first-round bye. And that first-round bye and a home game in the next round is huge when you can get it. So I'm taking Miami. As for the 2 games that most people are going to be watching today, I know myself, I will be watching at least 3 of these games, maybe 4. I'm going to be watching this Alabama-Tennessee game with huge interest. Now, not only because you're looking at an Alabama team that is fluttering, but I'm looking at a Tennessee offense with Nico Iamaleava, and I'm wondering what has transpired over the last 3 to 4 weeks that you can't get it together. And I will say there have been a couple of missed plays, but there's been more than just a couple of missed plays. The offensive line has been inconsistent. Nico's been inconsistent. And it looks to me like there are teams that are figuring out this fast-paced offense. And Josh Heupel, now a lot of people are saying, I don't think it's as much Heupel as it is the guy's just not executing. Well, some of it is the coaching. And I think ultimately what's got to happen is they have the 7th-ranked rushing attack, but a lot of that came early on. That's the weird part about stacking your stats like that. They haven't ran the ball well, and they haven't thrown the ball well the last couple of – well, let me phrase that. They have run decently. The numbers aren't as drastically off as it's been with the passing game. The passing game has been off, but the running game hasn't been horribly bad. But then you face off against an Alabama team who's been suspect against the run. And I think this will be a game that if Nico's got any type of athleticism within his jiggy, he's going to have to show it. I think ultimately Nico's going to have some ability against this Alabama defense, because the reality of it is Alabama, like the Georgia defense, struggles with mobile quarterbacks. Any quarterback that's got a little jiggy in his step gives those two defenses issues. They don't struggle nearly as much against the passing, what you call the Tom Brady-esque, the statue quarterbacks, because they're going to send a pass rush to get to them. It's when guys get out of the pocket. As for Alabama, much like I'm going to talk about later with Georgia, these teams are not running the football. These are traditional running teams, and they're in the bottom third of rushing. I'm at a loss for words with this. They've fallen so in love with throwing the football. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're good at it. But the only ground game that the Alabama Crimson Tide has is within Jalen Milroe, which is not a bad thing because he's an elite athlete. I'm sure Colorado would love for Shedeur Sanders to take off more. At least get the rushing stats out of below freezing.
What the?
The thing is, this Russian attack is so bad it couldn't run through wet toilet paper. And that's just how bad that's just how weird it feels to say Alabama doesn't have a rushing attack. You got all these big hog mollies up front, and they're pass blocking. And it feels weird when Alabama can't get any kind of offense, and they used to just say, hey, let's just run the ball. You guys remember those days when Alabama used to just, hey, we can't get anything going on the passing game. Let's run the football. It sounds like another team that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But, however, I think the fans of Neyland Stadium are the difference in this game. Now, a lot of people are going to sit there and, listen, I don't think I've ever remembered a time when Alabama lost to both Tennessee and Vanderbilt in the same season. And I remember hearing somebody say, are they going to take the poles down? You think they're going to take the goalposts down and walk them down to the river this time? And in the eyes of my friend Robbie, gab out to you, my friend, I think ultimately they're gonna win this game, and they're gonna tote down through Knoxville again and down to the river. At least it's not a 2.5 mile track.
Run.
Yeah. They got subs on the way. Now here we are. The cute girl. Number 5 Georgia Bulldogs versus the number 1 Texas Longhorns. Now, for all of you that don't know, if you don't know, now you know.
Son of a bitch.
But, I do like music. But looking at this game, the Texas Longhorns, Boomer Sooner. Oh, sorry, Natasha. My bad.
Is that your best?
My bad. No, the Texas Longhorns, in my opinion, are a football team that they're ready to make their grandstand. They're ready to be the next big thing of college football. Steve Sarkisian, i.e. Sark, has got these guys playing like a team that is ready to assert themselves as the number 1 in the number one spot in the land. By the way, just on a side note, Uga didn't make the trip, so there won't be a rematch between he and Bevo. And I'm pretty sure the rematch wouldn't have went Uga's way. That's why he probably stayed behind. But in all seriousness, this is the first time I can honestly say that I'm looking at a Georgia team, and I'm wondering, where is the running game? You guys aren't going to believe me when I say this. The Georgia Bulldogs are 89th in rushing yards per game. Now listen, you guys know I am not a Georgia fan, but I can honestly tell you this is the first time in a long time that I've ever seen Georgia's rushing attack in the bottom third in the country. And people are going to say, "Well, we 11th in passing." You won they're 8th in passing yards per game. Okay. That plays right into the wheelhouse of what the Texas Longhorns want to do. They're going to blitz you. The way you stop a team that blitzes is you have to be able to block and run the football. And not to mention, you're in Austin. You got to play in front of that rowdy 90,000 plus crowd. I don't know. They said they had renovation. It could be over 100,000 now. But you don't want no part of that. You don't want no part of that. Hell, Alabama went there a couple of years ago when I think it was Bryce Young's junior year before he left for the NFL. No, it was the year before. And they barely escaped. And that was before Sark had a bunch of beasts and absolute terrors on both sides of the ball. And I remember looking up that Football Focus said that Georgia's got a higher rated group of guys as far as talent pool than the Texas Longhorns. I think Georgia graded out 80 and Texas graded out 73. So this is about coaching now. Talent-wise, Georgia has more talent, but it's showing up on Texas' side. That's just real talk. Texas has had a tougher schedule, and now I'm hearing more people talk about, oh, well, we didn't know what Michigan was. Look. Let's stop this. Because we all know teams play predicated on their confidence. Listen, when I was at my pinnacle, I could dunk a basketball. You couldn't tell me I couldn't dunk no basketball. But that was also because I was in shape. I had a will to do it. And probably I didn't have half my bones aching and popping like Rice Krispies. That amongst other things. But see, here's the reality. The Texas Longhorns have a balanced offense. Now, the numbers don't reflect that, but I look at last week. Quinn Ewers, and it goes back to what I was reading in one of the articles. Why would I come out and start running on a cold hamstring? I need to stretch it out, warm it up, get it reacclimated before I start trying to go sprinting. I look at this game right here, and I look at Georgia and I say, we're going to try to run the football and play action pass you to death. Because here's the thing. One thing that Georgia has a problem with ever since Kirby Smart's been there, and even back into the Mark Richt days, they're overly aggressive. And Sark has shown the ability to trick you. I believe Georgia gets tricked in the run game quite a bit. And I think there's going to be a flea flicker or two. Because the reality of it is, Georgia is a react first, think second type of defense. They don't really think. And that secondary has showed a propensity for being beaten. They have shown that they are susceptible to the pass. Deep. Much the way Alabama does. Basically, it's the Nick Saban, I call it the Nick Saban umbrella. We're not giving you anything inside of 15 yards. Everything inside of 15 yards is either going to be you getting your head knocked off or it's going to be picked off or knocked down. And I believe Quinn Ewers, everything he's going to throw, well, paraphrasing, just saying, everything won't be within 15 yards. But a lot of the stuff is going to be deep ins, deep outs, deep comebacks. And they're going to be rollouts. They're going to roll this. I mean, not that Texas's offensive line is bad, but Georgia is going to have to make up for Texas's great offensive line by sending more than they can block. And what's going to happen is Texas is going to adjust, and they like to throw screens. Georgia's going to have to they're going to have to read and not react. I believe that's going to be the difference in this game. People are going to say that, well, you're not talking about Georgia's offense. Well, technically I did. You can go out here and throw the ball all over the yard if you want to. But the fact is, Georgia's going to have to stay ahead of the chains, and the best way they can do that is run the football. And I'm telling you, this crowd in Austin is going to be wild. They've got a top-notch opponent in their stadium again. They're not going to let Texas walk out of there without hooking them. They're going to get, unless Georgia jumps up 21-0, that is the only way you taking it. I mean, you get up 7-0, you get up 14-0. They might be in shock, but they ain't going to shut up. They're going to realize that they are the best option to keep this team moving. They're going to stay patient. They're not going to be in shock. They know this is a big-time shot. Now, what Georgia has to avoid in this game is they have to avoid letting Texas get the ball first. If I'm Georgia, I take it first. I gotta take my first shot at this defense. And a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, that's asinine. You let them get the ball first, so maybe the crowd winds out." No, they ain't. They ain't gonna wind down. What you gonna do if Texas goes and straight takes it right in? You really in trouble then. I think you take the ball first, and the first thing you do is you run a play action pass and try to get somebody open. You don't come out and you run the ball first. I know what people are going to say. Well, you got to get a feel of what's going on first. If you're going to run the football, it needs to be a straight up misdirection. It needs to be something either with Carson Beck or it needs to be something with the wide receiver going in motion. You need to see if this Texas defense is either going to react or read. Because we already know what Georgia's D is going to do. They're going to react. They're not going to read. But my prediction is this game's probably going to be at least a 10-point marginal win for the Texas Longhorns. Because I do not see Georgia's offensive line being able to block Simmons and Moore and not make any mistakes. Georgia I don't think they've played a mistake-free game this year. May have been that when they played that high school team. But, I mean, it's a situation where they have to play the perfect game, and they have not done that yet. And you're asking them to go into Austin and do that against the number one team in the land. Now, do I think Georgia goes to number one if they beat Texas? You go into Austin and win? Sure. Yeah. I'll admit, I'll go ahead and say it right now. They go to number one. Not sold on Penn State. Oregon beat Ohio State by a point in their building. That would be the most impressive victory of the year, to go into Austin and win. But Brad, Natasha, and everyone else, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you hit me up at Instagram, Mr. CeeLo, and see the other things I'm caught up in. Also, go to Gridiron Gab Triple Option on Facebook and check on the polls and check on other things that we're doing. If you got something you'd like to post, join the group and you can post in the group. Also, when you join the channel and become a member of the Gridiron Gab Triple Option family, we'll give you a gab out as well as put your name down in the comments so I can know that you've added yourself and subscribed. But until the next time, I want you guys to enjoy this Saturday, whether it's Jack Burgers or wings or whatever it may be, but enjoy this college football Saturday. But until the next time, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.